Aloha, welcome to the 10th episode of the 10th series of the Temple of Surf, the podcast. Today with us, Ryan Martz of Waterman Guild. We discuss with him about glassing, shaping, surfboard, surfers, and much more. Aloha, welcome to the show. Where are you today?
I'm in beautiful Santa Ana, California. And for all you guys that don't know, that's just inland of Newport Beach.
Okay. So how is the surf these days in California? It starts to be maybe not the right season, isn't it? Or it's still good?
We actually had a pretty good south swell just hit right now.
Okay.
So,
that's nice, right? Usually,
yeah, it's good for this time of season. Yeah, it's kind of like a little rare.
May, June is not like very, very nice.
No, we got June gloom. It's usually foggy and windy, and then not usually the best. But yeah, we got a little bit of swell this week. It looks like we had 3 days of overhead surf, so I got out there a couple times, so we're all happy.
Okay, fantastic. Today we're gonna talk about many things, but of course, surfboard shaping. But the first question that I have for you is, in your opinion, what is the most important thing in surfing?
The easy answer is, having fun. If you want to elaborate, like for me, it's just the evolution of surfing and keeping it fun, keeping things interesting, trying new boards. I think that's the most important, just whatever it is that gets you to keep going out there, year after year, day after day.
So, what is your driving force to keep going out there?
Right now, it's my kid. So it's kind of nice. Surfing for as long as I have and being in the industry, it's like sometimes we'll get bored with stuff. So my kid has been, my oldest son, Zeke, he's been starting to surf like the last year and a half. And so he's got like the stoke. And so it's like when we get home, he's just like, can we go? And it's just like seeing that stoke again is just, it's awesome because it's been so long since I've had like that Grom stoke, and just like reliving it through him it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing, to see. I have how old is your kid?
He's 7.
Yeah, my kid is almost 6, and it's like the right moment for them, to start with staying in the water, and catching the first waves, And I guess the best thing is try to push them and to put them in the right position. And in a certain way, we are passing the stock, right?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I made sure we've been at the beach. He's been on the boogie board the last couple years. And then, like I said, just not pushing too hard, but I took him out. And then like once he stood up, that was it. He was just like hooked. And it's awesome to see.
Exactly. One more generation of surfers.
Exactly.
Oh, which is good.
It's what the world needs. More surfers in the water, right?
I totally agree with you. That's the way it should be done, from surfer to surfers. Okay, so fantastic. So we said about we talked about your kid, but when you started to surf when you were a kid, you started like with a surfboard or like boogie board or
no, I was a little late. My dad made surfboards, so we were always trying. He always like tried to push me in there, and I think my mom's like kind of like like terrified. My dad taking me out surfing, and then for whatever reason, I always loved the water. Always played in the ocean, body surfed and boogie boarded, but I didn't really start surfing until I was like 11, 12, and then once I did that, it was just done. Like that's all I did every day.
So I have always asked like the question, what was your first surfboard? But I think in your case, it was really something that you had at home, right?
Yeah. It's a little different than some of the other podcasts I've heard, but like my dad had tons of surfboards. So, I distinctly remember my first board was a 6'9" Steve Rex, was just one of his mini boards he had in the corner that he didn't ride. So it was just like, that one worked for me. And that was my first board. And I just rode it to death for like 2 years, and then I finally got a board after that. But like that first 6'9", I still remember it. Still had like the old Waterman's logo and the Steve Rex logo on it. That was my first board.
And you still have that board or no?
No, I have no idea what happened to it. I visually can see it, but like I have no idea. And like I said, there was no specialness to my dad probably just got rid of it. I don't think he cared for the board, but I loved it. So, but yeah, I wish I knew where it was, but unfortunately it's somewhere, just not here.
I guess. Maybe one day you will find it. You will find it somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'll find it like on Craigslist or something, or offer up. That would be cool.
Yes, exactly. Well, on Craigslist in US, sometimes there are treasures, right? A lot of time there are like I don't know stuff that we don't want to see, but sometimes you can.
Yeah, so every once in a while you can find some gems, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff you probably don't want to deal with.
Exactly. Exactly. But sometimes I laugh at the description that people put, surfboard almost never used, and then look like has been like completely.
It's like 20 years old. Yeah, missing a fin and the nose is broken off.
Yes. And they sell it for $5,000 or something like
yeah, exactly. Pristine.
pristine condition. Yes, I totally agree with you. Okay, so that was your first surfboard, and at the beginning, let's talk about you as a surfer. What was the best wave of your life so far, or most memorable? Maybe
Was it memorable?
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably just a really good barrel at River Jetties, which is in Newport. I just remember getting completely pitted, like spit, and then came out, and it was just that was the one. That's the one that like replays over and over in my mind. But I mean, like I've surfed a lot of cool waves, but like, yeah, that's probably the one. Just a random fall day, River Jetties, perfect conditions, and just everything lined up, and I just got the magical wave of the day.
Okay, not bad. It's like if you remember that one very precisely, it means really was very good. So it's cool. How important is style for you in surf?
Yeah, that's the most appealing thing.
Yeah.
Like a person with good style can make just going down the line and doing nothing look absolutely beautiful and engaging. That's probably the most, I think style is probably the best thing in surfing, the most like draw you in, like you see someone like Torrent Martin who's not doing a ton of things, but like it's just he has a really beautiful style. Or like I was always a fan of David Rostovich growing up. Was just that guy's style was next level.
Yeah,
I could watch that guy surf for hours.
It's incredible. Like everyone, let's say most of the people will answer the same thing as you just answered today. And then when we go into contests, like competitions, style in a certain way, maybe still in longboarding is still considered somehow. But if we go for the WSL tour or not, style is almost non-considered. Do I say something wrong?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I used to watch it all the time. I used to be super into the contest and everything, but yeah, style is something they never really took into it. Like, because I remember there was guys that would just have insane style and like make it look effortless, and then other guys that are just like forcing it, and it just didn't look this. Like, I mean, they would get a better score because they did more maneuvers, but like visually, it was less appealing. So, I mean, it's competition. It is what it is. I don't know how like it's different from real surfing. It's its own entity, and I don't feel like you can and the judging's so subjective. It's its own thing. It's weird. Like everyone always wants to talk about competition surfing, but I think competition surfing and just like free surfing are just so polar or opposite, and they really shouldn't even be like put in the same world. Like they're two separate things.
Exactly. Like I don't remember where I watched this, but for sure in some Instagram post or whatnot, they were making like the comparison between the Kelly Slater Pro Surfer game that was like maybe 25 years ago. I don't remember how long, 30 years.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was cool, right? And today, basically, like that one was all about maneuver, right? and the game.
Yeah.
And today, is like to watch the game on the tour. It's the same kind of thing. As many more maneuver you do, more point you get, but that's it. It's like more score you get, but it's not at all about style. It's about crazy.
No, it's not about style. I honestly, like I said, I used to be all about it. It used to be my main form of entertainment, but like I think once the Kelly Slater wave pool kind of came in, I was out. I just once that was like the event, like the wave pool looks insane to surf, but like once the competition was there, it just grossed me out. It was boring and repetitious, and it wasn't fun. No one was like surfing it. They were just, like you said, robotic, and it was the same thing, same section. It was just there was no surprise. There was no like natural element of like, is he going to get the set on time? There's 2 minutes left in the heat. It just, the whole thing kind of just lost it. I lost interest in it at that point.
Also paddling out, it's it's not anymore.
Yeah, right. You got to take a jet ski out the back. Yeah. Or just jump in the back of the pool. Yeah, no, it just, to me, that's kind of when it just, I lost my interest in competitive surfing.
Yeah. Okay. I see. And so I started the interview asking you what is the most important thing in surfing. If we shift to shaping, in your opinion, what is the most important thing?
I mean, I'm not a shaper, so I don't know how in depth I can go on this one, but I mean, it's probably just having a relationship with I mean, every shaper. I own a glass shop, so I have like the luxury of like getting to know and meet a lot of shapers, and they're all so vastly different, and they all like what they think is cool or whatever they're into is, dude, it varies so much. So it's just like it's hard to pinpoint. It just like so many people do so many different things, and they're doing it so well. It's just who's to say who's doing it right? Like, I mean, if they're selling boards and people are happy, they're doing it right.
From your perspective, I think it was interesting, this question, because you see all kind of surfboard, right? Like,
yes,
a shaper sees only his own. You see everything. So in a certain way, you can, without putting you in any trouble, say like your particular view on that. Of course, there are amazing shapers all over, and they do fantastic things, But maybe for you, I don't know, rails or more like any other part of surfboard. If you had some specific opinion, that was more or less the question. But anyway,
I mean, no, there's no opinion. I like everything that everyone's doing. Like I used to be like more hard nosed when I like shortboarded all the time, and I would look at like alternative boards and just be like, yeah, look at this gross thing. But like here I am now, that's mostly what I ride and having a blast on them, So it's just, like I said, it's just what you're into. And like I said, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good things right now.
Okay.
That's what's kind of nice right now is just like before, for so long, it was just shortboarding or longboarding. Like that was it, And then it's just like over the last, I'd say like 15, 20 years, it's just become, there's so many like new markets, like there's just like guys who ride fishes really well. There's alternative, there's like high performance longboard, old school longboard, high performance shortboarding. There's just, and like people just coming up with weird stuff, finless surfboards. Like it's super cool. I think it's like an awesome time for surfing, that there's just like anyone can kind of just find their niche and like dive into it. It was before, like if you got on a shortboard and you weren't good, then just like people would just be like, you suck. And I can understand how that would not be fun. So now it's just like, if you're a groovy, like just want to cruise, go like alternative or retro, and just like there's so many different things going on right now. I think it's a real good time for surfing.
And so in this episode is a bit particular versus the other episode, because we always talk about, of course, the shaper, where your shop is a glassing, right? Glass shop.
Yeah.
And so in effect, it's kind of, I don't know if I expressed myself well, but it's a kind of forgotten craft, isn't it? It's super important, obviously, but
yeah,
obviously. But people do not talk too much about it, right? Why?
No, I feel like it's getting more attention lately, but like forever. No. I mean, like how long have we been making surfboards with fiberglass and, polyurethane foam? It's like I feel like maybe just the last 5 years, glass shops are starting to get their due. So it's a very important part. I mean, it's without it, your board's just going to fall apart. I mean, you can't just take a shape blank; it'll just disintegrate in the water. So, yeah, no, it's an important thing, and I'm glad people are starting to get their due. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, like everyone just sees the shaper, but like I got a crew of 8, 9 guys here, that like no one knows who they are, or even who I am for that matter. And it's just like, yeah, there's a whole team behind your surfboard, that just people have no idea exist.
Waterman's Guild has a huge history, right? Is like how many years you guys are in business? It's from your father time.
This is our 40. Yeah. This is our full 41st year in business.
Wow, it's amazing. Yeah.
Pretty much all my life.
Definitely looks like. How old are you?
I'm 43.
Oh, and we have the same age.
Oh, nice. Kids are the same age. We're just riding that like same.
Exactly. So, what is the story of Waterman Guild? How was created by your father, and fast forward to today, to you and these early days? If you can tell us in a very complex way.
Yeah. So my dad started Waterman's Guild. He'd been making surfboards basically his whole life. He was basically came from that. He wanted a surfboard when he was a kid, and his dad said, "Go make one." So he got a kit. He made a surfboard, liked it, ran into Sonny Bartman on the beach one day and said, "Hey, you know how to make surfboards?" And my dad's like, "Sure, I do." And then from then on, his whole surf journey went on. So, I mean, he was making boards forever. He worked all over Southern California. He ran Surf Glass for a couple of years, and then he decided, that, hey, I'm going to make my own business. So in 1983, he opened up the Waterman's Guild, and basically that's what it's been. It's been here forever. I took over kind of around 2014, and then bought it off him after he fell and injured his arm and basically had to like force to retire. I just bought it off of him in like 2018. And then right now it's a glass shop, but we manufacture boards start to finish here too. We have a lot of our own brands that we sell, like the Guild. We manufacture the Love Machines, Dewey Weber surfboards, Corey Graham. I think we just got the Keo Australia. So that's kind of what we're doing. We still have glass boards for anyone who wants to glass, get the boards glassed. But we're building boards start to finish here as well. So that's kind of the current,
and
version of Waterman's Guild.
How they are being like a machine made process, or is a hand shaping process?
No, we use a machine quite a bit. There's still boards being hand shaped. It's a little bit of both. But like the Love Machines, for example, I think you had Ryan on here, but he'll still hand shape all his boards, the Ryan Lovelace brand, and then we do all the machine cuts of those models, and then they go through under the Love Machine brand. So like that's computer made. Ryan Lovelace does the hand shape. Like I said, when we're designing boards for our brand, we're hand shaping everything and then modifying it, writing, talking with team writers, and then we'll tune it in. And then once it's perfect, then we put it on the machine.
Okay. So then my question about what is the most important thing in shaping was not totally off. I mean, even if you do it yourself, you're managing so many brands, So at the end of the day, it's like I think.
Well, I mean, it's important. For us, it's a little bit different. It's like I said, we're making boards for people, like on behalf of those shapers. Our job is just to make sure they're happy.
Okay.
We're doing, their shapes justice. So I mean,
And how do you see the business evolving after the COVID times? Like COVID times for all over the world, like people went to surf, and it was like just a boom, right? And everybody, by the way, was blaming the glasses. All the shepherds were blaming the glasses because of the bottleneck. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was insane. I mean, it was everyone who ever shaped a surfboard ever in their lifetime had orders. So if you hadn't like shaped a board in 20 years, all of a sudden you had 15 orders. So imagine every single person who's ever built a surfboard ever is the busiest they've ever been. And they just like, glass shops, like there's only so many of us. It was insane. We had to like literally tell people like, no, I can't take any more of your boards. Like there was no room to move. There would be boards in this office if like during the COVID. It was insane. Like there were so many boards. It actually hurt production because we spent so much time just shuffling stuff around because we had no space.
Wow.
So yeah, COVID was crazy.
And now, of course, now we are in a
the pendulum swung the other way.
Is that big, or how is the business today? Is sustainable or?
Oh, it's sustainable, but it definitely dropped off. I mean, it's like you said, you can't have that boom, that crazy, go that hard without it, swinging back the other way. I think what it was everyone couldn't get boards because it took so long and everyone was so busy that like shops and everybody just ordered and ordered and ordered because it would take forever for them to get them. And as soon as they got them, they were sold out, And so, I think a lot of the shops just kept ordering. They're like, we're going to sell them as soon as we get them. So they just ordered upon order upon order. And then when everything kind of slowed down, all of a sudden those orders were coming in and filling their shops up. So I think everyone has surfboards right now, and it was just like bound to slow down. So it's just kind of like I said, the pendulum swung, and then I'm sure it'll like level back.
We need a little time, for the surfboard industry to digest the peak of order that have been produced.
Yeah, we needed a break. We needed a little bit of a recovery time, just a little bit.
Okay. It's also good for the 8 guys that you were talking about before, right? They cannot work COVID in the COVID way like forever. They will all resign, I guess.
Oh no, we lost employees. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. And it was really hard. I don't think people understand the glass shops, like how heavy it was. Like everyone was just mad at you. Everyone wanted their boards. It was like, dude, I can only work so many hours a day. I mean, I was working like 12 plus hours a day, like I was putting 60, 70 hours a week, had 2 young kids at home, that were stuck at home with, COVID going on. It was a crazy time. Like as much as it was like, financially beneficial, it's nice that it came to an end.
Yeah, I think everybody rather prefer a much stable kind of order than a peak or a negative one or a positive one for what matters.
Well, that's the surf industry. That's how it's always been. It's either feast or famine. When there's work, you got to work hard, make your money, and then save it for when it, cuts off. I mean, generally, like typically it was always like January, February, March were always dead. So like you planned your vacations for those months, and like that's when you like did stuff. In summer months, like you didn't go on vacation, you worked and made your money, so that you had the money for the slow season. So that's kind of how it's always been, and it just kind of went back to that. It's what it seems like.
Okay. And so how do you see the future? Of course, like you have a lot of brands, like you were saying before about Keo or Brian Lovelace brand that you are bringing, into your shop to make boards for them. And then you have the glassing part. How are you going to see the future from a business perspective? You will continue to do these 2 things, or you have others ideas?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way we go. I kind of like it. We're doing an online store, or people can just come in. And I think it's actually a cooler thing. Like you get to come in and actually see where your board was made is, I think, a lot cooler of an experience than just buying it off the rack, But to me, I like it. That's what we're doing. We're going to have an online store selling these things. And like I said, or you can come in here and just order direct. and then see where your board's actually built, which I think is just a lot cooler experience.
Is there innovation in glassing, in the glassing business?
Yeah, I mean, they're always trying new stuff. That's not really what we specialize in. We specialize in more like old school resin tints, glass on fin, stuff like that. That's kind of where our niche is. But I mean, there's always stuff. There's always somebody doing something, like people are doing tons of stuff with epoxies and different, constructions. And like now I know they're doing like mushroom core boards and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think that'll always go on and have its place. That's just not what we're doing.
Okay. There is an episode with Chris Christensen that I've done with him, where he tells me about the story of two guys from NASA. He's saying that basically they're coming with this innovative product and then ended up completely destroying the surfboard because it was supposed to be like the new thing for that will revolution the surf industry, and then basically he told me it ended up like the product destroyed completely the surfboard, and my glasser was out of duty for 1 week sick. And
so definitely heard stories like that. I remember when Clark closed, that was a big deal. So there was all these new constructions coming, and epoxy really like found its way in at that time because there was no blanks being made. But there was like, I felt like every week there was like some new guy who had like the new latest greatest, this is how it's going to be done. And I remember this one guy came and he's like, I got this bio resin stuff and it's made from sap and it's the best thing ever. And then like, I remember he's like, just try it. And I tried it and I like put it on a sample and I put it outside and it like literally turned brown like a 40-year-old surfboard after like one day. And then like, it just got all brittle, and he came back and I'm like, I showed him this and he's like, have you showed this to anyone? And I'm like, no, I'm showing it to you. Keep working before you come back to us. But yeah, no, there's always somebody who has the latest, greatest that's going to change the surf industry. I mean, like I said, I feel like surfers are pretty, I'm trying to think what's the word. They're just, not ritual, stuck in their ways. So, we just kind of creatures of habit. And so, like new stuff will come. There will always be someone doing it, but I still think there's a lot of people that are just happy with the way it's done and going to continue on that.
Yeah, definitely. But also, I was talking with Eric Arakawa on the concept of innovation on surfing, and also I think with Akila Aipa the same. Basically, the concept is like, yes, there can be innovation, but before the whole surf industry adapts that and reduce the cost dramatically in order, because already a surfboard is expensive per se, it's not like
Right.
cheap thing, we're going 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 and more dollars, sorry. And if there is something new that comes up, maybe let's say a particular, I don't know, a material for instead of epoxy or something else that is available before it gets used, adapted by the whole surf industry that allows to the cost to be reduced. It will be only used by few, and every order of that specific material will cost a fortune and will just levitate the price of the surfboard up to a level that only very few surfers will commit in buying it, right? So unless the surfboard industry will come up with something something like crazy, like something that will replace from one day to another the phone, let's say, I think innovation will never be like huge. Will always be incremental and made by some crazy guy that will try.
No, I think it's, I mean, you got to imagine there's so many people like this is all we've ever done and been doing the same thing, with minor changes in materials. But like to completely change the build process or completely change the materials is like, you're asking a lot. You're asking a bunch of people who've gotten really good at doing one thing to all of a sudden just go, hey, learn a new thing. And by the way, when you learn a new thing, you're going to like mess it up. You're going to have to eat the price of it. You're going to it's asking a lot, like I said, there's always going to be people who are going to do it. And if it's, if it really is something, it will catch on, I believe. But like I said, you're going to be hard pressed to change the surf industry. It's been doing pretty much the same thing for decades now.
And by the way, like the glassing shop or the surfboard shaper, these are kind of artisan or craftsman jobs, right? And
Yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking, about maybe something, an example that doesn't mean anything, but like one craftsman that makes a vase, a pottery made of pottery vase. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. That will always be the way to make it. And then, of course, if he wants to do some hundred thousands of products completely the same, he can do in plastic, but it will never be same as the one that he handmade in his own shop somewhere in the world. And so the kind of analogy is the same, like with shaper or glasser or even films producer, it's just like maybe we don't need to find an innovation. We just need to respect the work of the craftsman.
Absolutely. Perfectly said. I couldn't agree with you anymore. I mean, if it was one of those things, it's like I feel like people will always want handmade from craftsmen, from artisans. So it's like, yes, if there are like 3D printed surfboards that take over one day, I still think there's going to be, people that are going to want the craft, master craftsmen to work on their boards and built by hand. And the prices might switch, like the 3D printed boards might come down and then the craft boards will go up, but I think there will always be a place for it, with people that, are really good at what they do.
You cannot avoid the surfboard to be in those big department stores, like cheap department stores, I don't know, in America or not, where you buy a surfboard for like $150, $200 just for the sake of it, right? So we cannot avoid that.
No, we cannot. But at the same time, I mean, like everyone has their opinion. I like to look at everything as there's like a good and a bad to everything. There's always an upside to something. So it's like when over here there's Costco and there was all those soft tops, and it's annoying to like go down to the beach and see as many soft tops. Like as a surfboard maker, it's maddening. You're like, they suck. What are you doing? These boards are inferior, but at the same time, like what we found out is like it was such a cheap, easy way to get into the industry. And we all know, like, once you catch that wave and stand up, it's like you get hooked. And so it was like an easier way to get people into surfing. And there's no way you're going to stick with a soft top if you're like, you become a diehard surfer. So it was as much as I hate them and everyone dislikes them, it's like they have their purpose. They get people in and they get people stoked on what we do. And then they move on to, actual good surfboards.
Yeah, exactly. Because, trying on a good surfboard can be a costly experience.
Exactly. And beginners destroy surfboards. It's sad to see too. Like they just can't help but like just ding them and just destroy them. So it's like, honestly, I mean, my kid, like I got my kid a soft top just for his first board. I mean, we're making his first board or now like his real board for the summer. So he did a year on the soft top. Now we're ready to go and we're dialing him up with his first like real surfboard.
Okay. So what he wants for as a first.
I don't think he really cares. I'm just making him a board that'll work, but he wants to paint it real bad. So when it gets time for that, I'm going to bring him in the airbrush and we'll just let him go nuts and see what he can do.
Is the artistic side that I think he gets the hook the kid, to the surfboard,
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people see color first. That's the first thing they see, like once you've been surfing for a while and you know what you're looking for, it's like you'll look at the shape, but I feel like color is the first thing will always like grab people's attention.
And I saw in your website that also you have like airbrushing, right? Is correct?
Yeah.
So you do that part?
Yeah, I actually started off as an airbrusher. So the first 20 years I was just an airbrusher. I worked all over Orange County, worked here, did it. Yeah. So we offer airbrushing here.
Okay. And you work also sometimes with the artist, or you just do it the traditional way?
Just the traditional ways, you know. Basically, people just come to us with their design, and we just carry it out. They dream it up, and we do it.
I like this philosophy, very customer oriented. Like,
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what it is. I mean, they're buying the surfboard, you know, like you said, they're not cheap. You know, I want people to get what they want. You know, it's what we do.
okay. Well, it's a very straightforward one. I like it. Cool. Any plans for the future that you want to share, or like you said before, you're gonna continue with the two part of the business and business as usual?
I mean, that's pretty much what we're focusing on at the moment. Like I said, just, you know, and building our own brand, the Guild. Like I said, those are all shapes that we like. We're working with, like I said, I'm not a shaper, but like it's really nice knowing a lot of shapers. So we have the luxury of working with, like, we're working with Simon Kyle right now, Ryan Engel. We've worked with people like Dave Parmenter and Mike Arnell and others in the past. So I like it personally as like a board building brand because, like you said, most shapers kind of like specialize in one thing. And then what we're doing is taking all the knowledge from like guys who specialize in different things, and we're just building like the best boards, like, for different types of boards. And then, you know, running them through our glass shop and just trying to make the overall best board. Longboard, shortboard, anything you want. That's just kind of what we're doing. And we're doing it our way, like just all industry guys having fun doing what we want to do.
That's important. That's important.
Yeah.
To respect people, to be respected as well, of course. And that's the reason why, yeah, you guys are in business since 40 years. Yeah. Because I guess you have the respect of the people around you. Otherwise, you never work.
I hope so.
Okay, I guess so. And cool. So we're gonna finish our interview with a short Q&A session. So please answer the question that comes up to your mind. Okay. The best surfboard that you ever ridden.
There's so many.
Oh, you have to pick one. Is the moment.
Like I said, I've had the luxury of working with a lot of people. I've done right now. I like riding the Matchbox. It was shaped by Simon Kyle. It's our brand of board, but it's just like a mini Simmons, modern version of a mini Simmons, and it's just, I have fun on that thing every single time I take it out. Just super fast, super smooth, just easy to ride. It's my favorite board.
Favorite shaper of all time. I don't want to put you in trouble with your shaper friends, but customer.
Man, I've had so many. Timmy Patterson's shaped a lot of really good boards for me. Cole shaped a couple good boards for me. Simon. I mean, I couldn't give you one. Like, I mean, I've had just like some of the guys work here over the years make some magical boards. So I can't answer it. Sorry.
No problem. I was kind of expecting, sometimes it's tricky question, like we need to keep politically correct, friendly.
Yeah, no, I'm not even trying to be politically correct. There's just so many good shit. Like, so many people do good stuff. You can't put, there's not a best. Everyone does what they do well. So it's just, there's not one answer.
Personal question.
Sorry, I'm plain and safe.
Personal question, your favorite song or kind of music?
Man, you're killing me with these, like, it changes. I've listened to every type of music. I mean, you got to imagine like 8-10 hours a day, headphones on, like, just, I've gone through every phase of everything. Right now, kind of doing classic rock. That's kind of the vibe I'm in. So a little bit of Leonard Skinner and, like Creedence. That's kind of where I'm at the moment.
Okay, not bad choice. Yeah, definitely. And favorite surf spot, if it's not a secret.
If it's not what?
Secret. Maybe you want to keep it secret, A lot of people, they have like a surf spot.
There's a spot. I love Trestles, but I think the secret's out on that place. No, I like Trestles was always good, just kind of crowded. I got kids. It's hard for me to get down there and get out there, but I've always loved Trestles, and I like Huntington State Park on a good combo swell. That's probably one of my favorite spots.
Okay. favorite surfer of all time. You didn't answer me really on the shaper, but on the surfer you must. Huh?
I mean, I love David Rostovich. It's like David Rostovich was huge. And I mean, it's kind of a mix of everything. If you could have like a Taylor Knox giant swooping roundhouse, that was probably that mixed with like, Andy Irons off the top and then just overall David Rostovich style. Like if you could merge all those, that would be my favorite surf.
Okay, but anyway, I think the idea is pretty clear. So powerful ones. And the last question is a little bit unusual. I ask everyone, of course. I don't ask me why I came up with this question because I don't remember. I would like to know your best relationship advice, when relationship can be a romantic relationship, a friend relationship, a relationship with a surfboard, relationship with the ocean. I don't know the way you want to answer.
Best relationship advice? Shut up and listen. Let the other person talk and listen to what they say. That's it. Just be fair and listen to the other person.
Okay. Makes sense. It's a good one. Thank you so much for being on the show with me today. And I look forward to talk to you very soon.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Ciao. Thank you. Hi, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed our today's episode. If you want to know more about us, please follow www.thetempleofsurf.com and all our social media. Mahalo!